La 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 la. Screen peeking. Bop bop bop.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 39 of Screen Peeking, a weekly podcast where we get together to talk about video games and anything video game related. I'm Nick, and I'm joined by my cousin Ziggy today. We are going to be
Hi.
talking about all kinds of games, all kinds of stuff from E3, and a few other surprises. So, Ziggy, how are you doing? What have you been up to this week?
I've been doing pretty good. I so I with on Steam, right? They have I forget what it's called, but they had sort of like an E3 like demo event thing going on Steam that I was pretty interested in. It's all just like indie games.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a couple games there that I were on my radar pretty heavily, and I wanted to check them out. Um, And so yeah, the first one of those, because those are the main like new things that I played this week.
Mm-hmm.
First one of those was the Route 96 demo, which I think they showed this game first at an Xbox conference. It's like, well, it was shown off as a sort of procedural, like hitchhiking narrative game where you're like fleeing from the country for, I believe, like political reasons. Um, and you are like, meeting people on the road, hitching from people. It seems a little bit like Life is Strange 2, but like procedural, and it's like, that sounds cool as shit. I
Oh,
wonder how that'll work. Very interested. I downloaded and played the demo, and it makes me very sad to say that it was really really bad.
aw.
Like one of the worst games I've played this year. And granted, it's just a demo, but that was like an extremely poor demo in my opinion. Um, like for one, when I say it was presented as a procedurally generated game, I don't know how that will work because this demo was not at all procedurally generated. It was just like a constructed narrative experience, and kind of a bad constructed narrative experience at that. So I mean, maybe they'll clean that up in the actual game, but I don't really have much faith. Um, but like the main, like I mean, there isn't really much gameplay in there, so it's leaning very heavily, on its like narrative and characters and story, which is an interesting choice for a procedurally generated game. But I mean, hey, maybe they get it to work. But the bits that I saw in this, I really didn't like. It seemed like they're trying very hard to make a like cutting sort of socio-political statement on, it felt like specifically the US, but just in general, and that's great. Like again, it did remind me a lot of Life is Strange 2, which is a game that I thought handled that really really well. But it just really wasn't handled well in this at all. Like all the commentary I had to say was either just like really bland or clumsy as hell and comes off as like almost kind of like shitty in a way where like the main hook of the game is, yeah, you're trying to flee the country. I guess there's like a mass wave of specifically and only teenagers for some reason fleeing the country, and so you're like meet this other teenager, and he's just like some white kid, and eventually like you like these cops start coming, and they're like, oh, like I know what you people are like. He's like, oh, what do you mean you people? Which was really weird. I guess he's referring to like profiling because they're teenagers or something. I don't know. It was really weird. I did not like it at all, unfortunately. On the very flip side of the thing, though, I also played a demo for Boomerang X, which is
That game looks fun.
yeah. So if you've seen it, it's like a one weapon shooter, published by Devolver. I can't remember who the developer is, but yeah, basically you only have a boomerang. And this game is great from what I played. Basically, yeah, so you just have this boomerang, you can throw it, comes back to you. It's a boomerang. So you click to throw it. If you click again, you like slingshot yourself towards the boomerang. And then you can also like press shift to slow down time. From what I saw in the demo. Which is really simple, but just like immediately, like 10 minutes in, I'm starting to see all the depth of it, where it's seamlessly like a really great combat system and also just like a really great movement system, just with like one button. It's
Mm-hmm.
only left click. And, obviously moving and aiming and stuff. Just like such a high degree of skill, though, and totally I'm playing. I'm like, oh, I can see where this can go totally off the rails and be something super fun and awesome. So that is highly on my radar now. I'm definitely gonna buy that when it comes out. I was looking at some of the other demos, nothing else I think super caught my eye. Also, it's called Next Fest.
Real quick.
Oh yeah.
Dang! Exclamation point is developing Boomerang X.
That's a great name for a developer.
Love it.
But yeah, those are the main ones. Kind of a high and low in there. But what have you been playing?
Yeah, no, and Boomerang X, as soon as I saw it, I just want to say, when I saw the first like gameplay that I saw of it, I instantly was like, that's a Ziggy game. Through and through. I said it to myself, if this plays as well as it looks like it does, like it's going to be a Ziggy game for sure. I'm excited to try it out. For me, well, I've just been, we streamed E3. Thanks to everybody who did join and watched our streams. Like, watched yours, Sigs, and mine. Like, that was fun. I had a really good time watching that. I obviously have some work to do with my audio levels. I went back and watched it over, and man, I was just so loud compared to everything else. Oh well. Anyways, that's how you learn. But yeah, that was a good time. And the Xbox event on Sunday, they announced that Yakuza Like a Dragon was coming to Game Pass that day. And so that's one of the games I've been playing this week. Just having a blast jumping into it. Finally getting my hands in there and really enjoying the story so far. I think I'm on chapter 4, I want to say 4 or 5. And just basically, unlock the Pound Mates app and really getting my hands on the combat and understanding how everything's working more in depth than the initial tutorial kind of chapters. But yeah, I realize that game is quite a time investment, and that's okay. But it's definitely like, if I only got an hour, I'm going to be sitting there watching a cutscene for most of that time. And so I decided I'm going to put it aside for now. I've been playing it basically up till yesterday, all week. I'm going to put it aside, and then in 2 weeks, I think Taylor's going away for a week. And I'm going to basically come home and be able to play games until bedtime every day for a week. And I'm just going to dive headfirst into this game and fully, I'm going to just complete it as much as I want to, but really finish the game and just really get into it. And that'll be the best opportunity for me to do that. So I'm really excited for that.
That sounds super fun. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. The cutscenes, it is a hard game to pick up and put down because of that. It feels like it gives its natural stopping points in the game are very far in between one another, which is not great for short play sessions. But yeah, that sounds like a fucking blast.
Yeah, no, I'm just having a great time with it. I'm very excited about that, being able to just play a bunch at some point. Yeah, I think on these work days I'll be able to put into probably at least 6 hours per day into this thing, and I haven't been able to do that since I was a teenager, so that'll be wonderful. And then I guess another little positive note, because I got my Series X last week, right? I think I mentioned that last week. Just being able to really dive into the whole Xbox ecosystem fully now has just been so cool, because I've known and I can understand, and yet it's that feeling of, I'd say it's the same feeling as the Switch. When you first get the Switch and you're I can pull this right out of the dock and take it with me and continue to play my game. And you just do it sometimes just because it's so cool that you can. It's that same feeling I'm getting right now, with the being able to play on my PC here. I'll be editing a video and then back and forth, and you can do turn-based combat, and you can just kind of have the game on one monitor, doing something else on the other. And then, okay, it's time to go. I want to go in the living room, kind of hang out with Taylor, and then maybe she's wanting to play some Animal Crossing on the couch, and I want to hang out, just being around each other and not just be in this room all the time, and just go load up my same save right on the Xbox in the living room, play that, and then if I'm in bed and I'm just you know what, she has to go do or have a shower or do something else, then I just lay in bed and stream it to my phone through the Xbox. I'm not even using xCloud, I'm just streaming it from the Xbox and using the controller connected to the Xbox. And I just think that's so cool, being able to just all those things. And then if I felt like it, just being able to take a controller to work and clip it on and continue playing Yakuza at work if I wanted to, on my lunch. I just think that stuff's really cool, and loving that. But that's all I've been playing this week, other than a little bit of Psychonauts, because that's our Game Club game, and I don't really have much to say other than it definitely is interesting, and I like it, but I don't know if I'll be completing it this month. We'll see.
Yeah, that's fair. I still am yet to start it, unfortunately. I keep on just trying to find the right night. I have not been playing very many video games in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, hopefully this week I'll find the time to do it.
Well, nice thing is we have a month with our new format, so that's nice.
I know. That's why I like this so much better. Also, what you're saying with Xbox, yeah, I still feel that every time I'm playing like Forza or something, like the games with the cross save between PC and console, and if I'm playing it on my console and I've loaded up my PC and watching it, go like, oh, let's just get your shit right in here without me having to do like anything. It's just like, oh, makes me feel happy. It's so just seamless, especially compared to when Tess and I were playing through Persona 5 together, we would have to, be jumping saves between their PS4 and my PS4. And doing that is so annoying because it was a whole mess of like PS Plus subscriptions and like home consoles, and like the internet went out one time. We're like, well, fuck, we can't do it now, which I mean, I guess would be the same for Xbox, but you know what I mean? It's just like constant confusion of having to upload, download, and shit getting messed up between accounts, and it was just annoying every single time. But with this, like doing that, jumping from I've done that, playing games on my friend's Xbox or whatever, and it's same thing, just load it up, it does the syncing save thing, and good to go. It's so nice.
Yeah, I know we've talked about like a few weeks back we were talking about whether we wanted to do a review on the next gen systems and like how they have been, or how they are 6 months down the road since launch. I definitely still want to do something like that in the future, as like kind of go over these things, because like obviously the Xbox is still super new and shiny for me, but I definitely have some stuff to say about both of those. Yeah, but I'll save it for another episode. Let's talk about E3, because like that was the big thing that happened this week. We had it going over, what was it? I guess it basically started, not E3, but Summer Game Fest started on, what was it, Thursday? I think it was Thursday last week.
That, yeah.
Yeah, so like that was the beginning, and then it's just now we're recording on Friday now, the week after, and so it's been a blur of a week for me. It's just been so many games, so many things to watch, so many things to look at, and a lot of excitement, specifically at Xbox's event, where we actually recorded and streamed. What did you think of the whole thing? Was there any highlights for you? Is there any event that you want to talk about in particular? So the floor is yours.
High highs and low lows for me. I feel like Xbox and Xbox did amazing. I like sort of thing, been saying year after year they're going to do, like, this is the year, and this finally was the year, and that makes me really happy to see. Nintendo, I thought, was a good presentation, which for Nintendo's recent standards is kind of mind-blowing, because I feel like I've been consistently disappointed with everything they've been doing the last couple of years. So seeing them do this and be like, you know what, I'm actually really excited for what's coming to my Switch is a good feeling. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely say the highlight of the show was Xbox's conference. I'm so glad we streamed it, because it was exactly what I want out of like a press conference at E3, which is, there was maybe 5 minutes of talking in the whole thing. Like occasionally Todd Howard or whatever would come up and say a couple things about the power of video games or whatever, and then it would just be a half hour of trailers, just trailer, game, new games, exciting games, stuff that I'm actually excited about.
Almost all of them to Game Pass, right?
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's a couple games in there that I kind of my eyes glazed over for. Like, they spent maybe 5 minutes on Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online, and with that, I was like,
yeah, I think I hit that.
Maybe
hit me the same.
0.1% of viewers actually is excited about that. But the couple other times that they were announcing like an update to an existing game, it was really cool. Like they weren't showing that just for the sake of showing that. It was like Top Gun coming to Flight Simulator, which I think is a neat crossover, or the Pirates of the Caribbean expansion, which I am really, really excited about.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's gonna be super cool, and the Sea of Thieves community has been also like just vibrating since that trailer launched. So it's awesome to see that much buzz in that community again, because it's been a while since I've seen it like that for sure. But yeah, and then the new games they showed were all pretty incredible. Like, all of them, the indie games they showed, I thought were really impressive looking indie games, and there was some pretty big AAA stuff. And I would say with this, I mean, I guess we kind of have to wait and see until the games actually release, but theoretically I feel like this drought of Microsoft first-party games is finally over. Like, I feel like that gap that they've had between Sony and Nintendo is finally lifted. Like, Microsoft has games now, which for the first time in a while, like, they have a really solid first-party lineup. And I don't want to say that too definitively until we actually, see review scores and games come out. But again, theoretically, they're in a really strong place right now.
Yeah, I'm interested to see when Halo ends up launching, because that was a big, weird question mark where they just said holiday still.
Yeah.
I mean, Psychonauts coming out in August, I feel like at that point, the drought is over for first party, like you were saying. I think besides that, though, yeah, they have so much stuff coming to whether it's not necessarily their studio, like they have so much great content coming to Game Pass that, like, and obviously that's the thing they're selling you, right? That value for me is so worth it, and it's so exciting to be able to just know that for the next 2 years with my Xbox All Access thing I've signed up for, that I'm set. I don't have to buy, if I feel like I can't buy a PlayStation game because it's $90 this month, then cool, I still got a few hundred games available to me, and probably at least a couple that I want to play, right? Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to say that because, like, it's so exciting, I think, just knowing that you're set, you're good. You can just check out this library, and we'll let you know when there's new stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I barely care. I mean, I don't really care at all now if a game is exclusive to Xbox or whatever, or if it's published or whatever. It's just games launching on Game Pass feel like a win every single time. And now there was 27 of them that conference, right? And like 27 great looking games all launching on Xbox is such a cool thing.
It is.
What was your like standout game for that conference?
Definitely Halo.
Except for Halo, I should say, because obviously that's gonna be one.
Okay. Other than Halo, though, Redfall. Is that the word? Is that the name?
Yeah, I think so.
The last thing that they showed from Arcane, because I love Arcane, and I'm very excited about Deathloop, and I really want to see what they do there. And like knowing that like Redfall is a game, and that has like I wouldn't say I'm a vampire guy, but I don't think of these things as vampires. Like, yeah, they're vampires, they're sucking the blood and all that stuff, but I just like monsters. I think like just some kind of creepy monster, in the design, the way that cloak is like almost like flames like flapping up behind the one like boss one later on in the trailer, like and the characters that have different abilities, and the one lady, and she's like using this like weird elevator, like holographic elevator to like bring the dude up to the roof. Like, that was so cool. I'm really excited to see how they make it work. The fact that it's open world, the fact that it looks like a 4-player co-op kind of shoot your, like almost like a Left 4 Dead thing, but how will it be different? I'm really excited to see and get some of those answers. But I'd say that's the thing that like stood out to me the most, other than Halo. But I did love the whole show. Like you said, there was only a couple of times that my eyes glazed over and that I was really not interested, and I think it was a lot of the same moments as you.
Yeah, with Redfall, one of the things I'm most curious for that game, I want to see if, because they showed, like 4 pretty strong characters in that trailer. I'm wondering if those are, like the characters you play as definitively in the game. Like, you just choose one of those 4, or if it's going to be more of a loose, like, customizing thing, maybe. And those were just sort of 4 examples. I honestly don't know. I would probably lean, my guess is those are just the 4 characters you play as, but knowing Arcane and how much they value player freedom, I could see them making your character pretty fucking customizable in terms of like class and ability and stuff like that. Personally, I would say my standout game would be that's my standout game, but I can't remember the title. It would be either be Somerville. If you watch our reactions, you'll know I'd flipped out when that came out. God, I'm excited for that game. But then the one that is like The Last Night, but not The Last Night, the like pixel art 3D.
Yeah, both of those looked amazing.
Yeah, I think the second one almost more so. If the game does come out and it does actually look and feel that good, I think it's gonna be fucking incredible. Like that art style was just unreasonably good. It was like, cyberpunk, but like not too cyberpunk, which I kind of enjoyed. Like, it kind of rode the line a little bit. It was just like dingy and it's perfect looking. Yeah.
Well, you
I'd say
gave
those
2
ones,
there, so
yeah.
I'm going to give one more as well.
Okay.
Atomic Heart. That's the other one that I'm really, really excited to get my hands on and see how it performs, how it plays, what it actually is like. Because every trailer I've seen for Atomic Heart so far looks whack. It looks crazy. It looks fun. It gives me Bioshock vibes, and I just really want to play it. But it's hard to tell. The type of trailers that they have for the game make it really hard to tell, is that gameplay or how much of that is gameplay? What will it be like when you're actually playing it? And that's what kind of gets me nervous, but I'm optimistic. So that would be another one for me. But yeah, just knowing that like 27 of these 30 games they showed, I'll probably play almost all of those at some point. Even Forza Horizon 5, which I am not a car guy. Like I do not play racing games. I do not play sports games. But that one I actually would like to try out and just see how beautiful it is, and just to drive. I can at least I can figure out the controls for driving a vehicle. Flight Simulator, forget that. I cannot leave the ground. That game's beautiful too. I will not be playing that one though.
Very fair. Yeah, Atomic Heart, I agree with you. I'm so like cautiously excited for that game. I remember when it was revealed. I think I was a freshman in high school at the time or something. It was a while ago.
Yeah, it was
when
a
that
long
first
time
reveal
ago.
trailer came out. And I feel like they've shown gameplay demos, but everything they've shown, yeah, it gives me the vibe of like, I don't know how real this is. And it doesn't help that I remember there's stuff coming out that I think some of those early trailers and like gameplay were like not actually the game at all and were just created specifically for those trailers. And it doesn't help that the only other game that developers released was kind of a shitty VR game that they abandoned after a little bit. And like, there's stuff like that kind of stuff. I'm like, I don't know. But I think even if it started as something like that, I think now that the game, it has, advertising backing by Microsoft, Mick Gordon is working on it. There's so many kind of names attached to it now that I'm starting to be like, well, I don't think this game is like fake, like I'm convinced it's real now. Before I wasn't convinced it was real. But yeah, I really want that game to be fucking amazing. It looks
Me too.
Fucking amazing. Like,
I will say, the most recent trailer did, like, every trailer has had improvements, it looks like, every single time, and that this trailer did look the most like actual gameplay.
Yeah,
I just always, it is that cautious optimism we got.
Been burned too many times by games like this.
Yeah. I wanted to just go over, because I have a few predictions that we gave, I think, back in April for E3. So nice, good chunk of time before it, so that we could kind of throw a few things out there. Again, just so anyone knows, like, this isn't a competition. This is just us throwing out our ideas. So I just want to see how many of our ideas were right. Okay. So I'll start with me, and then it's like, if you want to give me yours, then that'd be great. So for me, I had written down Atomic Heart trailer and release date. Didn't get a release date, but we got a trailer. So
yeah,
kind of right there. But I'm really happy we got a trailer for that. Elden Ring trailer at Xbox event. Nope.
But we got one.
We got one though. That's all I care about. A release date for 12 minutes. We did get that, so that's good. Halo Battle Royale announcement. Nope. When I was listening to the podcast, I remember I said, I heard myself say, like, well, it's 50-50. Either they're doing it or they're not, and I could see both ways. And yeah, no news on that. Xbox Elite version 3 controller. Nope. Unfortunately, I really want to get that announcement.
Yeah, me too.
And then Design Lab returns, and then on top of that, you can customize the Elite version 3 controller. The Design Lab thing, I'm still gonna say that counts because it's still kind of E3 week here. But yeah, it wasn't at the main Xbox event. And then yeah, who knows about the Elite version 3 controller if you can customize it, because it doesn't exist yet.
That'd be a cool announcement.
That would be. I'd be really happy to see that. Another one, I have two more. Nintendo announces Mario Kart 9. Nope. And Zelda Breath of the Wild. is all I wrote. So I'm sure I just meant like we're gonna see some more of that, and yeah, we did. But yeah, those were my predictions. So a bit of hit or miss.
Yeah. My predictions were, I just have this written down. One was Breath of the Wild 2 gets release date, which is not really true, but we saw it, and it was released
2022.
Year, so yeah, half points maybe. PS5 gets some sort of quick resume like feature. Sony was not there, so that's a no. But maybe it'll happen in the July event.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Said Xbox announces a streaming stick, which I'm going to give myself half points for, because while they did not announce a streaming stick, they said that they're working on a streaming stick in an interview.
And it wasn't at E3, but it's still since the time when we didn't have confirmation on it. So
half points. I give it. And then Valve announces another game, not the next Half-Life game. Big nope on that.
You'll get through this.
Gabe showed his main at E3, but it was not for that.
That's great. I just thought it would be good for us to go back through and take a look at what we had said, and not forget about that.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about. I don't know if are there any other press conferences you want to talk about other than Microsoft and Nintendo? Because personally, I thought none of them were really of consequence. Yeah,
everything else could have just been a blog post or a Twitter post.
Yeah, God. I mean, Square's was okay. We saw Guardians of the Galaxy. We saw Final Fantasy Origins. Both those look kind of mediocre in my opinion. Which Final Fantasy Origins, we were talking about this before the show. I think that's just a really bad trailer. I think that'll be a fine game, if not a good game, but we'll see.
Yeah, Team Ninja makes great games. So I believe in the ability of making this game fun to play.
Yeah,
I'm with you.
In terms of story and graphics and stuff like that, it looked pretty bad from that trailer. But yeah, I mean, if it's fun to play, I feel like for that type of game, that's kind of what matters. So then let's talk about Nintendo. What stuck out to you from that?
Pretty much just Metroid Dread and Zelda Breath of the Wild. That was about all that there was for me there. And I was gonna make a reaction video actually to the whole thing, and I ended up not, because I was yawning and kind of just bored most of the time. I know there's a lot of stuff out there. A lot of people, I saw it on Twitter everywhere. A lot of people this was a great direct. This was amazing. And I just sat there and did some self-reflection and realized, am I just not a Nintendo fan anymore? Because it just made me sad, because I thought man, I wish I was as excited as everyone. I'm not trying to be a downer. But Metroid Dread, just to say my opinions on that, I love Metroid. I really am excited for Metroid Prime 4. I really like the Metroid Prime games, not so much the side-scrolling, the Metroid. Basically we were talking before, the Metroid, what Metroidvania comes from, right? That and Castlevania, those classic games where you're running around the 2D side-scrolling map and collecting your items and all that, getting your upgrades. I appreciate those games, and I think they're kind of fun, but I don't know. I feel like I'm spoiled with Hollow Knight, but I can't go back to the older Metroids now. But I like the world, and I like Samus, and I like the characters, and I like the way you upgrade your character and get to access to new areas. But Metroid Prime is the kind of games that I actually really enjoy. And seeing this Metroid Dread and seeing it following the side-scrolling thing, I was like, that's awesome. That looks cool, and I'm happy for the people that are excited for it. But I don't know what the price is, but I'm assuming a regular Nintendo, for me, $80, $90 for this game. I'm like, I don't see myself doing that when I have a ton of games over here on my Xbox that I could be playing. And that just kind of made me go, okay. So it took away my excitement when I saw that, right? That's cool. I had no idea that it was a game that 15 years ago was announced or something like that people were excited about. I didn't know that. So obviously I didn't have any excitement over that either. And then, getting to Breath of the Wild, while I am very excited to play it, it wasn't an exciting trailer. We've been spoiled so much from the last few trailers from Breath of the Wild that I did not find this as an incredible trailer. Whereas the other two, let's say the last 2 or 3 I've seen, could almost bring tears to my eyes. If not, they did. They were very, very exciting. The music was perfect. Very interesting to look at. What can I glean from this information I'm seeing on the screen? This one, I wanted to rewatch it, so I did it. I did a reaction video. It's up on the channel. I did an analysis in that video too, just going through my first impressions of what I thought the game could be like. Definitely have some stuff wrong in that first impression, but that's fine. But like going through that, I was like, yeah, this is cool. Like it's more Breath of the Wild, right? It's not exciting though. It wouldn't get me jumping out of my seat as much because if someone said, hey, close your eyes and imagine Breath of the Wild, but there's islands now in the sky, you're using abilities kind of look like the rune abilities too. Like, okay, cool, and your arm is different. Oh, kind of like the first trailer? Yes. Like, okay, I can picture almost every part of this trailer in my head before without seeing it, and that was the thing that just kind of made me feel like it wasn't as exciting. And that doesn't mean I'm not excited for it. It just didn't make, you know what I mean? I'm trying to just explain why I didn't get me to that like 10 of like, holy cow, I can't believe this game is what it is. And that's just what you get when it starts out as a DLC. It's reusing a lot of assets. It has the same art style. You can imagine it, right? You're wondering, what could Breath of the Wild 2 be like? Oh, it could be like this. It could be like that. And you're imagining it. You're thinking about it. So when you finally see some stuff, you go, oh yeah, that's kind of what I was imagining, or to a degree. What about you? What did you take from this?
Yeah, I definitely don't agree with people who thought it was like an amazing 10 out of 10 Direct. To be honest, I think Nintendo fans are fucking starved for anything from Nintendo, and like I don't blame you. They've not shown much. So yeah, like I said, finally getting something like a good, decent Direct feels just like mana falling from the sky, Yeah. But personally, I've said this on the show, I don't really like Metroid that much. Metroid Dread, I thought looked really cool. Would I pay $70 for it? No, definitely not. But I do think it looks. For one, I think it's crazy that they revived that game. I think that is fucking great. Like, it's crazy in general, but especially for Nintendo to do something like that. Take back a game that we've heard rumors before back in like 2005 or whatever, and then a game long thought dead gets revived. Like, that's awesome. I'm so happy for fans of 2D Metroid on that. Also, Dread is such a kick-ass subtitle.
It is. It really is. Like,
it's so cool. But the idea of like a really horror. I mean, they've done a lot of horror in Metroid before, but an even more horror focused Metroid. With the like getting stalked by that one robot and all that sort of thing. That's pretty exciting to me. My one thing with that is just, like you sort of touched on this, we live in an age right now of, I feel like a really fantastic Metroid-like game comes out from an indie developer for like $20 or $30 every few months, I would say, or at least once or twice every year. And so seeing this, even like it is from the franchise that started it, but part of me wonders, like, well, it will live up to Hollow Knight, will live up to these other games that have done it so fucking well in the years since that came up. And even if it does, like, I don't think that'll justify $70 for it when it looks like the caliber of an indie game, and that's not a knock on it at all. It looks like a really great indie game, but regardless, like $70 feels like a steep price for it. For Zelda, I actually feel the total opposite way that you do it. Like, I loved that trailer personally.
Right.
When I was envisioning Breath of the Wild 2, I guess I was envisioning less than what this trailer showed us. To me, I thought we were just going to get same map. Maybe it's more or less destroyed than it was in the first game. Looks a little bit different. We're kind of going to be, it would be, a very similar experience to the first one, just again. And I was excited for that. With hopefully more story, hopefully better dungeons. Because that's the main things I thought were lacking in the first game. But with this, like, seeing, holy shit, there's islands in the sky, which to me, as someone who's a really big fan of Skyward Sword, like, just absolutely sings to me. Like, going back out there, I looked at that first island that Link is falling onto, or Link ? Is falling onto, and that island kind of lined up for what the map of Skyloft looked like in Skyward Sword. Like, I could kind of see, like, oh, this is where the waterfall is. I mean, there wasn't any buildings on it, so I'm like, is this really tying into Skyward Sword? Especially given the fact that they're re-releasing that game that nobody really liked right now, just, coincidentally with...
I love the theories that are going around. Yeah.
Yeah. I personally think this is going to tie into that game. Maybe that's just wishful thinking, but seeing all that appeals to me personally. And just how much they're changing in it was unexpected to me. So yeah, I was pretty blown away by that trailer, and I I also think it did a really good job of being the kind of trailer that you can totally pick apart. Like, who is a lot of the shots in the trailer look like somebody that could be Link or could be somebody else. You know, given that their look is totally different, because you see a lot of traditional Link and you see a lot of that character. Some people theorizing that's like the hero, the ancient hero that you see on the like the tapestry in the first game.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good theory. I think that one's very possible.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think it's Zelda. I don't think that's Zelda.
I do not think that's Zelda.
If I would say if Zelda is playable in this game, they could still be holding their cards to their chest on this one. I would say you're playing as whoever that is in the sky, you're playing as Link on the ground, and you're playing as Zelda underground, because you see Zelda fall, into the pits. And I think that would be really cool if you have like these 3 different levels. You're playing as, 3 totally different vibes and all of them. I think that'd be awesome. Whether we'll get there or not, we'll see. Also, the fact that they still haven't told us the title of the game is weird.
Apparently, because it would be a spoiler.
Yeah, it's weird, but that makes me very interested as to what it could be, especially given the theories surrounding this trailer. I think this boosted my excitement, because I was kind of, my excitement for it was kind of waning over time just because we hadn't seen anything, but this totally boosted it back up to 10 for me.
Well, I think I know what the subtitle is. I think it's Link Gone Wild. And that's why he has really long hair. Porn parody. I
know. Yeah, other than that though, in the direct, I was watching somebody react to it who is a huge fan of Monkey Ball, and so he was really excited about that announcement.
That was
good
cool
for Monkey Ball fans. Yeah, good for you guys. I'm happy for you. I felt that a lot during that trailer where something got announced. I'm like, you know what? I'm happy for you guys for this
I
very
liked Monkey
specific
Ball
audience
on
that's
GameCube.
I never played it personally.
It's a good game.
But like that, Advance Wars, again, I know a lot of people love Advance Wars. Never played it. I don't really have any feelings on it.
Me neither.
A lot of stuff like that.
Mario Party, though. That was
I forgot about that.
That was a cool announcement. That was one that again, same feeling as Metroid Dread. Mario Party, cool. They're bringing a bunch of N64 maps back. They're all it's all updated, looks nice. 100 or more mini games that are like the classics. I was so excited about that. But again, just like that feeling of this is so cool. But again, I'm not dropping $90 on this right now. I just can't. I'm not going to do it. I'm not that eager to play a digital board game with Taylor. I'll just play a regular board game. Sure.
I totally feel the same on that one. I think it did look really cool, but I don't know. That does not justify $60 at all for me. And Super Mario Party didn't either, for the record. I think both of those games combined might be worth $60 to me, but both just seem kind of content bare, especially compared to previous games. I don't know. I feel like this could have been a DLC, and I would have been excited for it.
I think if they do end up supporting it or even doing content packs, that would be really, really cool. If they make this new Mario Party almost like Smash Bros. Ultimate, where you're they're slowly adding all the old maps, they're adding all the old mini games, except for the ones that use the GameCube memory stick mic and stuff like that. But I think that'd be really neat if they do that.
Yeah. Oh, also there's the Smash character reveal in that, which again, I don't really care about Tekken, but I just thought that trailer was really good. Where he was just
creepy.
Throwing everybody into a volcano. It's kind of distressing, but it was good. I don't know, but yeah, I feel like that was in context with the other, what I look for in a presentation. That was honestly pretty mediocre. But I think they had just enough great announcements in it, especially compared to their last directs, for it to be good in my eyes. Maybe 7 out of 10. And if you're a huge fan of like several things that got announced in that direct, then yeah, I could totally see why you'd be like, oh my god, it's fucking amazing. All my dreams are coming true. Because
absolutely.
a lot of the stuff that was in that direct was stuff that nobody would have guessed would happen. Like Metroid Dread, what the hell? Advance Wars coming back is fucking crazy. Like again, Monkey Ball, that's also pretty crazy. Like stuff that has been neglected for a long time coming back is awesome to see.
I think you'd be surprised at how addicting Monkey Ball is. It's actually really fun.
I kind of want to get this one because I've heard so many good things about Monkey Ball.
It's actually really fun and challenging. It's actually got some real difficult courses.
Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah, that was a good event. We're like really just flying through the time here. I'm having a good time just chatting with you. I'm like, holy cow, we're almost at an hour. I don't even actually, I think I started early with the recording, so probably not. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm just like, I can't believe how much time is flying by. I wanted to talk about Halo a little bit. You're cool with that. I really want to discuss a little bit of the multiplayer because Halo is one of these games where, just like for a brief history for me, is that's one of the first, like, as a kid, you're like, oh, my first rated M video game, right? That you get to play. Halo 3 was that for me. And I remember playing that with my brother a lot, and like throughout the years, getting through my teens, like just having buddies over. Everyone brings their Xbox over and their TV, their little screen, and you're all doing the LAN party for my birthday, for my brother's birthday. We would pretty much do a Halo sleepover every single time, and we'd get 8 to 10 of us all together playing Halo, and it was just, you would prepare for like a month ahead of time, just making your custom maps in Forge. You'd make your custom modes, make all these different things that were going on. And I just remember having such a blast, like just making those things. And I would set my video camera up on a tripod facing the TV, and you would see this blinking red light in the recording, just recording the TV screen. And I'd go into theater mode, and I would go through our previous matches, and I would be like specifically running over the camera, clicking record, and then like pressing play on the controller to like play a clip, and then move the camera like live in real time with my control sticks to try to get the nice shot of like my brother shooting this guy in the head, one of our buddies, and like just trying to make this thing. And then going to the Mac computer my mom got, which was like a huge deal at the time. She got it for her home schooling, and I remember like going to the movie maker on there and just trying to make our own little videos, and I still have them on my computer, and it's just so fun going back and looking at those. And just the feeling of that in the parties. I am so excited to play Halo again, and I have not played it since Halo 4, so don't know when that is. Like what like I don't know when Halo 4 came out. It was on the 360, and I want to say it's like 2012 or something like that. So having Halo Infinite come out hopefully this year, I'm almost certain, but I'm not 100%, made me really excited seeing some multiplayer at E3 this year, or at this event, and just being able to see this is what multiplayer looks like, this is what you can get excited about, the customization, wow. Armor pieces galore, visor colors, all the stuff you could want in making the Spartan you in the game, having this AI voice, basically this AI partner, having your own custom AI, and I think, that is so cool. I want to be like having this whoever I want as my voice to just be like, hey, get your shit back to your base or something like that. Get in the Warthog or grab that flag or something like that. I can't wait. I can't wait to create my own Spartan, play this game.
Yeah. My prediction on Halo Infinite in terms of like how it's gonna review out personally, I think its multiplayer did look really strong. I think its multiplayer personally is gonna be great. Mm-hmm. Its single player though, I really just don't know.
It's hard to tell.
The thing is, having two directors leave it in such a short time span really makes me uneasy about it. But personally, I think just from like a business perspective, I could see Microsoft definitely trying to focus harder on getting the multiplayer right rather than the campaign, because that's what will keep people subscribed to Game Pass, Or I guess it's a free game, they don't care. Maybe, I don't know. But does it fly on my monitor?
Get people buying the battle pass.
Yeah. Like just that's the thing that'll make them long-term money. The campaign, I feel like we just haven't seen enough still we haven't seen enough post that first gameplay demo to really know. we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
your
either they're
multiplayer looks really, really tight.
yeah, the whole sandbox, the way that the physics of like throwing the sticky grenade behind the energy sword to have the explosion launch the sword toward the Spartan and then he catches it midair and like that kind of stuff, that kind of thinking can make a really cool play. And I think we've talked about like those Twitch moments that people can clip from their stream, like, oh, this is like a 1 in a million chance this happened, and like this is so cool that this happened. And you get that all the time with a battle royale or with a like Warzone or something like that. And I think that a multiplayer game these days needs to have the possibility for crazy moments to happen like that, where yeah, it might be almost like a 0.0001% chance of this thing working out exactly this way, but because you have so many people playing, it will happen at some point. And like I think having the sandbox to where it can be fun like that, like the big like I don't know what it's called, but the big metal spike that they shoot and it just takes off the warthog and the front of it goes flying, the thing goes flipping around, like to do something like that, just great. And then the visual improvements. Like I was looking recently, like I actually thought the game looked fine last year. I understood what people were saying. It didn't look like a next gen game. Like holy cow, this is where next gen's going. But I didn't think for a Halo game, I didn't think, oh wow, this looks like garbage or anything like that. But seeing what they've done over this last year was really cool and really like I don't know, kudos to them. Like kudos to that team. Like they definitely they took what people were saying and they definitely improved the visuals. So I thought it just looked great. I saw this assault rifle comparison specifically for me is what I really got drawn to, and like it just looks so much better.
Yeah, really good showing on that. So let's do we're saying we're gonna update our meta score predictions.
Right.
Do you think we have time to do that?
Maybe we should do that another time.
Yeah, let's do that next episode.
So we had obviously a bunch of games were announced at E3, and we didn't know if they were coming out this year, or we didn't know about them at all. So we have a few games we've added to our list. We did predictions early at the beginning of the year, and a lot of these games got delayed. And so we thought we'll update our list with games that are definitely going to be coming out or should be coming out now this year, now that we have dates and stuff, and then we'll put our predictions on there as well and see how, and they're Metascore predictions, by the way. I don't think I said that. But yeah, we'll do that going forward. But yeah, let's jump right into, I do want to briefly touch on this. Xbox bringing the basically the next gen, the Xbox Series S and X games to Xbox One through xCloud. They're making it so that the old Xbox One consoles can now, like, or maybe not now, but they will be able to stream through xCloud, stream these next gen games. And other than delay and maybe some little bits of like bad resolution at times, just because you're streaming the video feed, I mean, you'll basically be able to play a game that is optimized for the Series X in the future. And I think that's really, really cool. Really, really inclusive, makes these people who either can't afford to buy a new system or just haven't wanted to buy a new system yet have a way to still play these games that are, say, have a big higher settings, set for them, because they are set for this next gen, really powerful console and it just would not run that way on the older systems. And it's also really cool just for like splitting that what am I trying to say here? Developers who want to just develop for the newest thing and give people that value when they buy the new console. That people who buy that, they want to have games that like, oh, I can only play it on this. It makes the value of this, it makes it worth what I just spent on this console. But you also don't want to just ignore all the people who bought these older consoles, and so you try to have two SKUs, and then it usually holds back the development in some ways for a newer game. And I think that's really cool that they could, in theory, moving forward, just focus on, like, for this Halo situation, it's coming out on Xbox One and Series S and X. If they in the future had another Halo or new things, they could eventually just go, well, all this stuff's coming to Xbox One, but just through xCloud instead. What do you think? Yeah, no, I think that's a great solution for people who are still on an Xbox One console, and also just for for developers. Like, I think that'll be great. I think it could definitely
take down the number of sort of cyberpunk type situations we see, games that should not be on last gen, trying to make it work on last gen.
Yeah.
And it just comes out as a mess. Like when you have it like this instead, where it's running on great hardware, it's optimized for that hardware, and you can play it on your 8-year-old console just fine, through the cloud as long as you have good internet. My big question for this is currently xCloud only works for Game Pass games. Is that still going to be the case with this, or are they going to move it into more just games you own you can stream? I think that'll be an interesting thing. Because even within Game Pass, not every Game Pass game can stream. It's still pretty, it's definitely in beta in terms of that. So hopefully they make it so you can just play any Series X game on your Xbox One, but we'll see.
I feel like it will be locked to Game Pass, but that would be interesting to find out for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's move right into the last segment here of our show, which is, our favorite 50 games of all time. We are now down to number 31. We're just going to do one this week. So, Zig, why don't you start?
All right. So yeah, my number 31 is, well, it's Super Smash Bros. But I say specifically Ultimate because it's the newest one, and my personal opinion on Smash is that just every game gets better with every iteration.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Smash. I've talked about this with previous games, but it's one of those games that is more than a game to me. Where when I think about Smash, I don't really think about like the balance or the meta or the actual game. Most of what I think about is like especially when Ultimate released, because I was in high school at the time. I had more friends who played video games.
Wild.
Actually owned a console that could play it at the time of release, so I was way more wired into just the release of it, pre-ordering it, being hyped as fuck for launch, waiting until it reached 9 p.m. so the game would unlock, and then I just was playing the shit out of it to get ready for the next day when I knew I'd be playing like every single person I sat next to at school. And
that's cool.
Doing that, and I think I remember during French class busting it out, and I think we had some free time at the end of class. We're like, oh shit, like you want to play comments? Like, oh yeah, still like unlocking characters.
You change the language to French,
Inkling or something. Yeah, it's educational. But just that experience of like playing everybody and anybody and everybody, like this random kid on the bus, like, oh shit, are you playing Smash? I'm like, yeah. It's like, oh shit, I got in my Switch, where like random kid I've never talked to, I'm playing Smash against him. Like it was just this like all unifying thing, everybody enjoyed it. Even people who don't really play video games are joining in. Just like this crazy social event of doing that. And I think
that's cool.
Yeah, being in high school and having just being around that many people made it such a special experience. And fuck, just every Smash Bros. Game is just like hype condensed into a physical object, and I love it. Like Ultimate especially because it's the ultimate one. There's the most characters in it, but I remember even the lead up to like Smash on the Wii U, where every time a new character got announced, we're like, oh, what? That's crazy! Like Beat Fit Trainer in Smash, like that's fucking bizarre. Or even characters I never even heard of, getting announced, and it's just every single time it was exciting. And way back to the nostalgia of playing Melee on GameCube and stuff like that, which Melee I definitely don't think is the best Smash. I think it plays good, but I think its balance makes it kind of annoying. But I don't know, Ultimate, it's just such a special experience of a game.
Mm-hmm. I wish they would bring like just an audio patch, like, or not patch, but like a mode that you put on so that the whole game has the sound effects of N64. I would love that so much. So every hit, every bop, it just all has that unique sound to the N64 Smash Bros. I would love that so much. Yeah, I love those games, and I'm glad that that's on your list. It's on my list too. It's not this one. My number 31 game is Halo 3 ODST.
Very relevant.
Love Halo, and we've talked about it a whole bunch already. And yeah, ODST was at this point in my life where I didn't really understand using the same engine. Like, even though I had played Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time, it's like just using the same engine to create a new game. And like, or using like a lot of the same assets and stuff and making a new game out of it, and like just getting to experience Halo ODST. I think I get more appreciation for that game as I play it as I get older. And like every time I play it, I'm just like, man, this is actually such a good game. And this is such a unique standalone game that I actually really like. And in some ways, I like more than the traditional Halo games. And just that you're like one of 4 ODST regular dudes that are just down there in the city, just trying to like, you're the rookie and you're trying to figure out what happened basically to all your teammates, and you're just going through this city it's all very sad, somber music. Cities at night.
That's
you have like your night vision
one, right?
Yeah, and like there's all the aliens have taken over the city, and it's just like this feeling of like, oh man, what's going on here? And it's like, also obviously Bungie made this game, and you can totally see where they've taken inspiration or they were testing stuff out in this game for Destiny. There's a bunch of stuff in there that's just fun to see, and I think they even have a tease in like a bus stop of like a poster that teases Destiny.
Oh really? Huh.
So like I'm pretty sure it's just like the planet and then like a little like moon thing that's actually like the Traveler, and and it says like Destiny on there or something like that. And
that's awesome.
I don't know, I'm pulling that out of my ass, but I know there's like a poster somewhere in the game that shows and teases the game. But yeah, just the feeling of playing it was familiar, as like I was a huge fan of Halo 3. It played very much the same, but then yeah, it had a little bit more of that serious tone to it, a little bit more of that like, what's going on here? Oh, buddies are dying, and I think you do lose a few partners. Spoilers, in the game, and just like getting to see that. And I think in a lot of the missions, you basically find an object of your teammate, and then you do a flashback mission where you get to play as that teammate. And you're going through what they had just experienced up until the point where you found them, or up until they left that object you just found. So you kind of get to see what happened right before you got there. And I don't know, I just think it was a really neat way of storytelling, and I think it was a good game. And they had introduced Firefight in that one, which my brother and I had a huge blast playing. Just wave upon wave of enemies, and like just not having many games that did that. I think for us it was like Gears of War, I don't know if it was 3. I want to say it was Gears of War 3. That was the only other like game with like a horde kind of mode that we played, and I don't know how the timing works out there, but like that, like I just remember really enjoying Firefight, and just like how many waves can we get through, how many rounds, and yeah, so that's why it's on my list. One of my favorite games.
Awesome. Yeah, I honestly know next to nothing about the game other than it got the cool like jazz soundtrack, which I think that like jazz in a Halo game is pretty kick-ass. So that's all I have to say on that.
Nice. Well, with that, that brings us to the end of the show. Game Club now is a month-long thing. So for this month, we're playing Psychonauts. Feel free to join us. Play Psychonauts too, as well. Not two. Just we're playing the first one. And let us know in the comments what you're thinking of it. Like, don't worry about spoiling it for me. I don't care. I love reading the comments, and I would love to hear what you guys are thinking of it as we go through. We're going to talk about it more at the end of the month. So a couple more weeks from now, we'll be probably talking about the game. It won't ever be a full show focused on our Game Club game, but it will be a week or an episode where we can just talk about it for a good chunk of time. Zig, do you have anything to plug before I close up the show here?
I don't think so. Episode 2 Screen Peeking is still up. You can check that out. Other than that, I don't think so, no.
The Screen Peeking?
Screen Peeking, shit. Yeah, episode 2 of the show is still up, believe it or not. No, Vertical Slice is what I meant.
Yes.
God damn it.
Yes, go check it out. Vertical Slice is a good show. So he does it with his friend, and yeah, I really enjoy it. With that, thank you for watching this far or listening this far. If you're on podcast services, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. If you're on YouTube, please leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Yeah, keep peeking that screen.